What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the right side of campus. It's Thursday, June 28th, 2018. I'm your host, as always, the big man on campus here with my co-host, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how you doing today?
Doing good today. Hey, man, another day, another dollar. Got a couple soccer matches on the TV today, Jeff. Woke up, had to walk the dog early. Hot as hell and muggy here up in the Northeast. Heat wave coming on. And hey, that's what summer's for. I'd rather have the heat than the extreme freezing cold any day. Only thing that ruined my night last night, Jeff. Got a nice little 1-0 win yesterday on the roundtable play of the week. Was rolling it over to the main course, the steak dinner, the prime rib on the New York Mets, up 3-0 in the eighth inning after a Zach Wheeler sensational performance. Oogats!
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, when you're depending on the Mets, that's what happens. But, I'll tell you last night around 5 o'clock in the morning, it was a bad thunderstorm down here. It rained hard. The thunder was violent. I guess that's what brought the muggy weather in. I haven't been outside yet, but it looks a little hazy out there. But that's what summer's for. We welcome it, everyone. Hopefully, you had a great evening. You enjoy the show today. We are promoting great people at Intertops. Intertops, one of the best books in the business. Sleek interface, easy to use. Got all the lines for the World Cup, and I'm talking about they got all the lines for the World Cup. You want to bet both teams to score. You want to bet unders and overs. You want to bet correct scores. They got all sorts of stuff over at Intertops. If you want a soccer book that has most of the bets you're looking for, make sure you check out Intertops for the World Cup and for anything. Football coming up, make sure you have a variety of books. Make sure Intertops is one of them. Also, make sure you like the show. Also, retweet the show. If you're on Twitter, there should be no reason you're not retweeting the link that we tweet out. It's the way we grow the show. We get people that might have interest in the show. Right Side of Campus is a recap show where we go over the night before and give you a little bit on the day of. We'll go over some baseball today, go over some World Cup today. Interesting matches. How do you approach these is the big question. We will get into that as well. Let's get into the morning headlines here. And we welcome everyone on the chat. I'm having a little trouble getting the chat up here. But Donnie, Jayson Werth leads the headlines. And you're going to probably ask, why the hell is Jayson Werth leading the headlines? Donnie, yes or no? Yes or no answer. Do you have
Yeah.
any idea why Jayson Werth would lead our headlines today? Just say yes or no.
I saw something on him yesterday, but I'm not actually quite sure, Jeff. I'll say no. I'm not sure why he's on headlines today.
Well, Jayson Werth, it's time to say goodbye. Jayson Werth is retiring from the
Yeah.
game of baseball, according to sources. Werth has actually been in the league for a pretty long time. He looks pretty young, but I believe he's in his late 30s. If you remember, Jayson Werth was on the World Series team for the Phillies. We remember him from his shaggy hair and his interesting attitude. He's 39 years old, had a pretty good career. Ended up going to Washington, made a ton of money there, played there for about 7 seasons. Best known though, Donnie, for his
Mhm.
mother. Mother very attractive, if you
Oh.
remember. And I remember during the Phillies run, many people were commenting on his mother. But you look at his career, he had a pretty good career, really. I mean, one of those players that was pretty good. I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer or anything, but you look at his career numbers. 229 home runs, almost 800 RBIs. Pretty solid average, 267. Um, Good riddance and goodbye to Jayson Werth, Donnie. As we called him at times in this town, worthless, Jayson Worthless. But you got to admit, he was a pretty good player. He did a lot for the Phillies. You look at back in 2008 when he was with the Phillies, had a pretty good season. I think he had 24 home runs, 67 RBIs. He was important to that Phillies team, Donnie.
Yeah, Pat Gillick got off the scrap heap there, floundering around with the Dodgers. I believe the Orioles also one of those low-level guys, a couple $1 million that ends up producing and being a huge producer. And then obviously going on to win a World Series was very instructive in doing that. Going down to Washington, got the big paycheck. Can't fault him for that. Shithead towards the fans for, 99% of his time here in Philadelphia. But hey, if you give us a World Series, we'll sort of look past that, Jeff. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, amen on that. Ski Profit said he retweeted. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you to anyone who retweeted. What's up, Larry, Matt, Troy, Comic Ricky? What's up? No, no, no. That's a different one. It's an idiot with the same name. Dewey, everyone in here, welcome in. We move on, Donnie. This is another one where I don't think you have any idea where I'm going, but Donnie, it's really just me coming to the realization that I'm kind of sick. I'm tired, Donnie, because I see the writing on the fucking wall. I see LeBron. He ain't coming to Philadelphia. I see Paul George. He ain't coming to Philadelphia. And I see Kawhi Leonard. He ain't coming to Philadelphia. And I realize he ain't coming. No one's coming to Philadelphia. And I'm sick of that. I'm tired, Donnie. I've been a fan of this team, and I hate to keep doing this, but I'm a passionate guy who wears his heart on his fucking sleeve. All of you know that. I love this team. I remember when I was a young kid watching Allen Iverson, a crossover Michael Jordan, and and them go to the finals, and all this great lore, and Pat Croce climbing up the bridge during the finals run and stepping over Lou. All that stuff I remember. But then I look at this team now. I'm sick and tired of the dog and pony show. We're gonna go out and do stuff. You're not doing nothing. You're not involved. You're not doing nothing here. July 1st is coming up, and I don't see the Sixers really involved here. Why is everybody always making moves but this team? They are not good enough to win. And until they do something, Donnie, I'm getting sick of it. I'm tired of this
Yeah, well,
because
well,
I
I mean,
thought
well, I
we would
mean,
get
we could,
Kawhi.
well, I mean, nobody's made any moves yet, so you might as well rip the Lakers, rip San Antonio, and rip Oklahoma City right now because nobody's made any move out there. The one interesting thing is all the cold feet out there. LeBron was a done deal to LA, now backing off. Now all of a sudden, Oklahoma City, a huge player in keeping Paul George for a max contract. Is LeBron going to go to LA all by himself and get trounced? And then you saw yesterday the offers out there for the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio is going to offer and want from the Los Angeles Lakers if they trade 3 or 4 players, maybe 1 or 2 draft picks to raid that franchise. The best place for Kawhi Leonard to go is to the East, which is where San Antonio wants to move him to, and looks like it's going to come down to Boston and Philadelphia. Philadelphia in the mix for everybody right now, probably outside of Paul George, because LeBron James should already be opted out, ready to go and signed with the Lakers. But now you're seeing the cold feet out there saying, whoa, 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 I'm not going to LA before all this happens here. So nobody's made any moves yet.
Yeah, but Donnie, I'm trying to talk about the fact of why aren't they in the forefront here? I don't hear their name. I hear them as like a
What do you mean
sidebar.
yesterday?
Oh
They
well,
made a sizable offer for Kawhi Leonard yesterday. They're in on it for
and it
LeBron
did.
James. If you see any
And
articles
the,
out there, the Sixers are in second
why
place right
isn't
now
it,
behind the Lakers in getting LeBron James. So I don't know where this is coming
Donnie?
from.
Listen, I think you need to get real here a little bit. I don't think it's gonna happen. I just don't. I don't see the Sixers, and every time I hear them talk about Kawhi and all these, I don't see the Sixers name. I see them as a fourth, back, somewhere in the midst. Maybe they have a chance. I'm just I see the writing on the wall here. This team will find a way to screw this up and won't bring anyone in, and we'll go into next year with the same team, and they won't win anything, and then it's maybe we'll do something in 2019, and they won't do anything.
I mean, they're not
I'm
going to
just
win unless they get LeBron and Kawhi. They're not going to win anything anyway. But they're a 50-plus win team yesterday if they make no moves whatsoever from right now and probably finish
I'm sick.
second in the East behind the Celtics.
That doesn't. I'm sick of losing. I'm sick of tanking.
They're
I'm
not
sick of.
losing. Sixers don't lose. Sixers
They
won
they
over
were
50 games
losing.
last year.
Listen, Donnie, I'm not going to have this conversation. I'm just venting myself.
Yeah, but you're
I'm
saying you're
being
sick
honest.
of the losing. I mean, they go from
And,
10 wins to over 50 wins. I mean, you got to say that was at
and
least a nice marginal
and
improvement over 2 years.
didn't win anything. Didn't win anything.
No, they're
They're
not
not
going
going
to
to
win
win anything.
anything. Nobody's
So
winning
so do
anything until
something to
Golden
change
State
it,
leaves, unless there's a super team out there.
and do something to change.
That's what they're doing right now, making offers for Kawhi,
They're not
pitching LeBron. What
not
happens
making
what happens if you wake up
the
tomorrow
offer.
morning, Kawhi Leonard's in Philadelphia, and then LeBron
So
James follows through?
bullshit offer.
That's what they're waiting on.
It was a bullshit offer that nobody fucking wanted. Nobody wants Markel Fultz, unfortunately. I think Markel Fultz should be a fine NBA player, but nobody wants him. Nobody wants that crap. You got to give up that fucking pick, and they don't want to fucking do it.
Well, nobody knows what
Um,
they actually gave up, but they did make an offer. What? There's 4 teams that made an offer, 2 in the West and 2 in the East.
yeah, I don't know why I bring the Sixers up. I don't agree with anything you say on it, and neither do you. We'll move on here. But we'll make this clear. In a month, they won't have anybody, and we'll go back to this conversation, and we'll be predicting that the Sixers win 50 games again and not win anything and lose in the first round to the Celtics with the two best players.
I'll
Or second
guarantee you
round,
they
whatever.
don't lose in the first round next year. Yeah.
Well, uh, listen, if LeBron stays with the Cavs and maybe
He's
Kawhi
not
goes
staying with
there,
the Cavs. It's impossible for him to stay with the Cavs. There's no way he stays with the Cavs.
it's not impossible. What are you talking about? Impossible.
They're
No, it
not paying
isn't.
$300. The thing that I like to, I think Paul George is probably the easiest to confirm to LA, right? He opts out today, which I don't even know why that was a surprise or breaking news. He was going to opt in with the contract and lose money on that deal. That was hilarious. But also, you're looking at, if you saw, the ESPN articles that are coming up. If Paul George stays in Oklahoma City, they all of a sudden turn into a $300 million payroll in that tiny sawdust town. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think Paul George to the Lakers is a formality, but I think LeBron James is sitting back and waiting before he goes to the Lakers or makes a choice to see where Kawhi goes. That's where I think the big issue is going to be.
Either way, doesn't involve the Sixers. Let's move on. Janoris Jenkins, brother involved with an odd situation. According to reports, he was not home at the time, Jenkins, but his brother was charged with aggravated manslaughter after the body was found Tuesday in Janoris Jenkins' home in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. According to the same report, the body was identified as a friend of Jenkins who had been living at the home. Weird foul play here. I don't know what happened here. William Jenkins, though, has been arrested before. He's been paroled from prison since 2016. Um, I don't know when these guys will understand you don't have multiple people living at your house and you're not there. Anything can happen. Donnie, right now at my house, no one there. Don't want to worry about anything. I don't want anyone there. When are these guys going to learn? Deshaun Jackson was involved, not involved with this kind of stuff, but I remember that staged robbery that he had. Because of some of the people he was hanging out with, then it proved that it wasn't any robbery really. But weird situation here.
No, it's. I mean, hey, look, Janoris Jenkins. There's a lot of bad raps around him already. When you continue to hang out with bad people, bad things are going to happen there. He's just lucky he was actually in Florida at the time and not being an accessory just from being in the house and getting caught up in all that. So he's lucky he's in Florida. But hey, look, if you're going to keep bums around you, bums are going to get you in trouble. And it looks like he's answering for a murder rap that he probably has nothing to do with. Hopefully, this wakes up for Janoris Jenkins and separates himself from these idiot hangers on and gets his life turned around there, because it does you no good when people do this. I mean, how about that? Let me open up my house to you. You're my brother. Hey, look, I'm going to Florida. You live with me, man. Here, look, here's probably the debit card. Here's some cash. I'll be away. I'll be back. Just watch over the house, and you end up murdering somebody in his house. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, I mean, do these guys have any wherewithal to understand, hey, this isn't my house, and my brother's an NFL player. Maybe I should not do stupid shit like this, so my brother doesn't have to worry about stuff like this. And maybe this is why my brother has a bad reputation, because of people like me that hang around him. And you know, there's nothing worse to me, Donnie, than it's sad, really, where people like Janoris Jenkins or people. Yeah, I remember, anybody, where they can't seem to pull away from the negativity, like these rich guys or these celebrities or these athletes. They can't pull away from certain things. I get it's your brother, but why don't you just give your brother $1,000 a month and get him a place? I mean, does he have to live with you? I mean, that might not be the best idea. I remember, Donnie, a year or two ago, Dion Waiters, a basketball player, his brother was killed in South Philly, and it was down in Point Breeze, and I'm thinking to myself, why is his brother still live at Point Breeze? This guy's a rich man. Why is his brother and mother still living in Point Breeze? I mean, things happen down there. I don't understand it, Donnie. You got to be able to get yourself away from that. And Janoris Jenkins has to deal with this in the front page of the paper again. And we kind of talked about LeBron and Paul George. We'll see what happens there. I guess we'll just let it play out and see what happens. I'm just not sure anything good's going to come out of it from
Yeah, and
our
again, the
standpoint.
linchpin is Kawhi. The linchpin is Kawhi there. If Kawhi stays, it sort of changes everything up, which I can't imagine Kawhi staying past the next, 2 weeks in San Antonio. We know how this works out. Disgruntled superstar player in his last year. Is he going to give a damn about what happens in San Antonio? What happens in San Antonio? He goes, nope, we're not trading you at all, and we're going to work this out. And he just does one of those, yeah, my ankle hurts tonight. I want a couple games off. My quad's firing up again. I want a couple games off. And then what do you do at the deadline next year? You'd be lucky to get, Covington straight up for Kawhi Leonard? It's not. He's going to be moved, and it'd be surprising if they move him to the Lakers unless – I mean, what do you have to get back if you're San Antonio, Jeff? Lonzo Ball, Randall, and Ingram, and a one? Like, are you just going to decimate that team and then give them up Kawhi, and then Kawhi's going to cost, a massive contract along with it? It's fascinating to watch how it's going to play out because the match doesn't make sense for Kawhi going to LA by trade. If he was a free agent, sure it would.
Donnie, I'm going to take 2 minutes. This really doesn't have a ton to do with sports, but I just keep seeing this, and we have a platform here, and I just want to get an opinion here. And I don't think you watch this, so it's hard for you to give an opinion, but I know you know the guy. Dude, is this fucking Ronnie guy from Jersey Shore, does he have like the worst love life in the history of men? I mean, do you ever follow him, like, and what is going on with him?
No, I haven't seen him since
I
he was
mean,
on the show.
so this guy, like, he had all that shit with that chick Sammy. Then he gets a new girl, and he has a baby with her. He was arrested, I believe, a couple weeks ago for some spat they had on Instagram Live. Now, yesterday, she was arrested for, I guess, driving away as he was hanging out of a car and basically dragging him or something. This guy is a complete mess. He needs to go to rehab or something. He looks like he has some major issues. But I keep reading about this fucking guy in on Twitter and stuff. Seems like he has some real problem. Ronnie from Jersey Shore. He should get some help, or maybe she should get some help. She's hitting him in the face, dragging him out of a car. Just a complete mess with the kid in the car. Just dreadful stuff. Um, Good point, Ken. He brings it on himself. That's a good point. I think you're talking about Ronnie there. Settle down, settle down, Dewey. No, he's not. He's not like anybody. Uh, Shut up, Dewey. I don't think you know what you're talking
Where's he
about.
from anyway? Is he from New York?
I think he's from Staten Island or the
Yeah.
Bronx or
Yep.
something. New York somewhere. Senegal, I believe, is a penalty, Donnie. Uh-oh. Big. It's a big play here because Colombia looked like the favorite. They need to win in this game. This is it's a big kick for the Senegal, Donnie. We'll have to follow and see
Hmm.
what goes on here. We'll get into the World Cup here just in one moment. We'll talk some baseball as well. We'll get at that. An interesting card today, small card. Ocean Resort, Donnie, opens today. New casino over in Atlantic
And
City.
Hard Rock.
The
Yeah, double shot down
former
there, Jeff.
the,
Yeah.
the former Revel, Hard Rock to us right now isn't much of a concern due to the fact that they don't have sports betting right away. But I'm excited to see what Ocean Resort looks like. According to reports, they want to be the big time sports book in the town. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think I'll be over there today. I don't want to be over there on the first day, but I'll definitely check it out over the weekend. Um, and do we have a goal here? We're under review here. All right.
We're
Let's
under
get into the World
VAR,
Cup.
Jeff.
Yeah. Let's get into the. Um, he's not from Philly, Dewey. Stop saying that. He's from New York, dude. I don't like people talking bad about our people, Donnie, down here. He's not from Philly.
South.
He's from the Bronx. All right, dude.
The Bronx are
Let's move
strong
it
on
down.
Jeff.
Yeah, the Bronx, wherever. Let's move it down. Johan Santana. I believe that's
Yeah,
Johan behind the
World
camera.
Cup, the Swiss, Jeff. Talk a little bit about the Swiss out there.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, you're gonna have bad beats in this tournament. I was on a pretty nice run. I'd hit 7 in a row. Yesterday, I take Switzerland. I think all of us did. I get Switzerland at minus 140, and I guess there's no penalty. Of course, why wouldn't there be? I have the over. Of course not. But yeah, it's Switzerland yesterday. Um, yeah, they get the lead 2-1. The penalty was disgusting. It was a terrible call. It was a total dive. It wasn't even in the penalty box. It was outside. He then fell into the penalty box. They called penalty. It seemed a lot to me that ref had to fucking draw because he called 2 penalties in the last 2 minutes. One was
Yeah.
a bad call. The other one was a bad call as well. It was dreadful. It was a bad loss. But what are you gonna do?
No, I didn't watch it at all, so that's what I'm gonna do on that topic, yeah.
It was ugly. It was a tough way to lose. I thought Switzerland didn't play particularly well, but they got the lead late. I thought they'd hold it, but it was a bad decision by the defender. It was schoolboy defending. You don't do that down, near the box. It was just poor defending. Let's move on. Germany is out. A big surprise here. Even my dad, who isn't a big soccer guy, mentioned to me. I was watching the game. He said, Germany's losing. I said, yeah. He said they're out. I said, yeah. No one could believe it. Uh, Germany, I thought was really poor in this tournament. They were dreadful. Just the side looked old. They looked decrepit. There was no creativity really. They couldn't find a way to score goals. And when you leave your best player off the team, um, it was just arrogance. Joachim Low, I think, should be relieved of his duties today. He's given them a World Cup, but it's kind of like Charlie Manuel, Donnie. He had a good run. He gave them a win, but it's time for some new blood in there. Uh, I think Joachim Low should be relieved. A dreadful performance by the Germans, and I'm not going to say I don't like it though. I don't have a future on Germany. I'm not really interested, and I get them out of the way, so I'm happy with it, Donnie. But a country very sad
So
this morning over a
no,
bad
I
World
saw
Cup.
that coach. I mean, don't feel bad for that guy. I believe was making the highest paid federation coach. I believe close to $4 million he was making for that. So I don't feel bad for that guy at all.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, he, just leaving people off the team that he shouldn't. It was just arrogant to me, and he ends up having to pay for it. Brazil, they move on. Nice win against Serbia. Wasn't tough here. Brazil will get it going. I think they just kind of I somewhat sleepwalked through this group. I mean, Costa Rica was tough, but they found a way to get it done. Beat Serbia. Um, you know, Switzerland turned out to be pretty good, so you get a draw there. Brazil will be fine. They have one of the best teams in this tournament. I don't think there's a lot to see here, Donnie.
No, no. And again, I like when the stars move. I was actually hoping, Jeff, that Germany moved on because I like to see, the superstar teams go forward because just having an event, you want to see the big names, the big teams in there. I'm glad Brazil's moving forward in there. Mexico's crept in there, which we're going to talk about in just a few moments. What an interesting day that is, Jeff. Do you feel good for I guess, the whole point is moving on, but getting shelled 3-0 and getting in by pure luck to the next round. I guess moving on is fun, but if you're backing the Mexican team or you're a Mexican fan, it's got to be a little bit shady at this point, right? Just that's like, the Eagles getting shellacked 35-7 by the Cowboys, but making the playoffs. You're like, yes, I'm happy, but damn, we look bad.
Exactly. Yeah, listen, Troy, to everyone out there, that guy's not Donnie Rightside. Stop saying that. He's a different guy. He's got a different name. We've addressed this before. It's not the same guy. It's a totally different guy. Um, no, I'm not hedging. No. I'm not hedging a future, especially if only for a limited amount of money. No hedge. Um, Donnie, I said to you before the show, I have a future
Mhm.
right now on Belgium to win that group. It's obviously coming down to a situation where lineups are going to be key. But listen, I think Belgium's a better team, even without Lukaku. I still think they're a better side. They still have good players. I think they're a better team than England. Uh, you know, I I just I'm not looking to jump out of it really. Um, Mexico gets crushed and they still advance. Some people don't really understand how soccer works, and they see 3-0 and they think, oh, well, Mexico's out. Not so fast. They have more points than everyone else. They move on. And Donnie, it's nice to have the Mexicans, I guess, in this tournament. They do bring some fun to it, don't they?
No, hey, look, the passionate fan bases, Jeff. And then what you root for, where people really live and die on every single game or everything out there in Mexico. I mean, hey, say what you want. Mexicans are rival. U.S. soccer doesn't like Mexico soccer and vice versa in there. But they moved on there. Kudos to them. Who do they match up with Brazil, Jeff, next round?
Yes.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one there.
Yeah, it'll be a good game, but I mean, we've seen Mexico kind of go through some of these. They went through that tough German side, which I guess we turned out wasn't that good, but still a nice victory nonetheless. It'll be a tough one. Mexico's a decent little side, but I think this will be where it ends for them. By the way, you can get Colombia at even money to win this match right now. The possession has been fairly even here. Haven't seen a ton of chances. Hopefully that starts to pick up. We're only in the 24th minute. The other game, Japan Poland, a game that means absolutely nothing to anyone. Both teams are out regardless, or not out. Poland's out. I'm sorry. Japan is obviously looking to advance here. Surprisingly enough, Donnie, Group H has turned out to be just as wild as we thought it would. Poland sucks. Japan is playing well, and Senegal is just kind of surprising people. We move on though to today's action. Do both teams want to lose? Listen, I don't think teams play to lose. I don't buy into that stuff. I think you go out and play the match. And Donnie, you're not under the impression that teams lose on purpose. I don't think they're built like that. There's too many
don't.
things
In
that
the
go into
World
the
Cup,
game.
I'm not too sure. There's too much money in the World Cup there because let's just say you're playing. You get a win or not. I mean, comes around every 4 years. What happens if you get your only goal today in World Cup action? You're a legend in your home, Uruguay or Argentina or Brazil. Just getting a goal in the World Cup sends you into the stratosphere in that country where little kids want to wear your jersey. That does mean something there. And I guess, if you look in maybe if it's like, if we can't lose this game, we just need a tie. Maybe you park the bus, as they say out there, and make sure that you slow the game down. But if there's a game that, both teams are out of it or both teams already advanced, you can make a name for yourself in your home country by having a good game out there. I don't see that.
Also, according to the Telegraph, Harry Kane will not play today. So, they'll put in Jamie Vardy over Harry Kane. So, look, Gareth Southgate's going to make changes, and by making changes, I think I think Belgium's a better side. We'll see. I think the game will be interesting to see who plays and who doesn't. Because according to the Telegraph, Kane will not play. Kyle Walker also won't play. So you'll see Phil Jones and Gary Cahill in there, which is a concern. Um, you know, eh, you might see Trent Alexander-Arnold, the young kid, in there as well. I think this England side is going to be obviously very much depth ridden. We'll see what Belgium does. As long as Belgium has De Bruyne, Hazard, and Batshuayi, I'm good with that. I think we'll get the job done here. So let's go to that game. I'm gonna rock with Belgium here. I have the future on it for them to win the group. I'm gonna stick with it here. I think they're the better side. Um, and I've kind of just anchored that over the last 2 minutes. Donnie, do you have an opinion on this one?
Yeah, by the way, I just want to go because both games are on right now, side by side. And if just tuning in, I know some people don't. I mean, I don't know. The one thing is, I watch soccer, Jeff, but I'm not following the group stages. Who needs what, or who needs to win, or who doesn't care in these games? Both of these games right now, 0-0 between the two. Just explain to the viewers the Senegal Colombia game and also Japan and Poland. In these two games here, Jeff, which team needs to win, needs to push, or just to move on, or who's out of it here? Just so we get a good idea, or even for me, like
Oh,
just so I can watch them and say, "Oh my God, Senegal
Senegal
scored,"
and
and they're going to
Colombia
move on.
both need to win. They both need to go for it. Japan, they're pretty much in. It'd be uh, uh, it'd be a. I don't think even at this point they cannot be in. Japan is in the next round. Poland is out regardless.
No, so I got you. All right. Now, how about if we move it down to the later games? Obviously, we talk about England, Belgium, Panama, Tunisia. I know in the Panama, Tunisia game, they're both, I believe, 0-2 and both out of it. Is that lend to believe, Jeff, more fireworks, more free play, or what can you look at a game where nobody needs anything? Because when I'm capping, a college football game, or if you're capping an NFL game, and neither one of these teams need it or out of it, is it something that you want to make sure you watch on substitutions coming in, or read the tea leaves? What is the coach saying at this point?
Well, the coaches are both saying different things. Belgium's coach has discussed, they're not going to, they're not going to go wild here. They're not going to, like Lukaku's going to sit out. He would probably play if it was a big game. There are certain things that both coaches don't want to risk. You saw yesterday, Donnie, and I don't know if you know this, but in the Switzerland game, Switzerland lost 3 players in the next game
Yes.
because they stayed in the
Defense
game and
too,
got
right?
bookings, and they're now out. Yeah, Lichtsteiner, one of them. So you don't want to risk that. So you know, both coaches are concerned about that. Both these teams are advancing regardless. Panama and Tunisia
And do
are
you, by
out.
the way,
Both
do you
teams.
like that rule in soccer? And is it just if you get
No,
2 yellow
no, I hate
cards
it.
in group play, you're
No,
out? Like I
no.
understand. Like if you get a red card, like you get a straight up
It should
red and you
be.
have to miss the next game, I actually don't mind that. But if you're just gonna have like 2 yellow cards and you miss the next game, it seems kind of egregious to me.
It should be erased after the group stage. Like again, I don't know how you would. I guess you have to kind of have it end at some point. So it just is what it is. I'm not a big fan of it, especially with the way officiating is nowadays. But yeah, I mean, it sucks, and you kind of have to work with it. I think I just don't think there's sides that try to lose in soccer. I don't think any sport takes that. I think the goal is to always be the best side. As far as playing, I think you're gonna have to play who you got to play. I don't think England's going to sit back and just lose on purpose. Or hey, if they do, I'll be happy with it. I hope England just doesn't play and they don't care about this game. And I think Belgium is just more superior than they are, and I think they'll get the job done. As far as the total, both these games are tough. I don't have much opinion. As far as the other game, I think both those teams want to get a win. This is an interesting game because both these teams are out. I think you'll see them both go for it. Maybe an over in this game might be worth a look. Both these teams are limited offensively, but they might want to go for it. They might try to do things you don't normally think they'll do, kind of like Costa Rica did yesterday. They went all out. They went offensively. Maybe these two teams will as well. Um, let's go down to MLB. We'll switch gears here a little bit, and go with this. MLB, interesting night last night, Donnie. The Mariners, what a game this was. I was actually at the casino watching this game, and I had the Mariners. I bet them small last night. I had a guy at the table. He had bet them also, and we were chatting about it. And, Donnie, we're talking at the table about Chris Davis, how bad he is. It was 7-5. What do you think he comes in and does? Or no, it was they were down 3 or I don't know, whatever it was. He hits a
No, they were
bomb.
down
They
one and he
take
hit a 3-run bomb.
oh,
Yeah.
right, right. And they take a two-run lead. So I'm
5-4,
thinking,
I believe it was. Yeah.
yeah, here we go. Britain coming in. This one's done. Not so fast. Seager hits a two-run home run, ties it up. They get the win in extras. Big win for the Mariners last night. Donnie, 25 one-run wins this year.
Yeah, I like the way. I mean, look, you're doing it without Nelson Cruz, that big cog in the lineup, and they still seem to hit with power and get it done. It's a well-balanced lineup out there. They have timely relievers. Even though you don't get a good pitching performance out of LeBlanc yesterday, you're still able to carry. Because when it's all said and done, Jeff, it still is the Orioles. But Britain has been in decent form, and that's nice for, a 2-run blast in the ninth inning to tie it up off of Zach Britton by Seager. That shows that this team can function. Is not scared to say, oh, boy, good closers in the game. Let's just throw up the towel. You get the leadoff guy on, second guy hits a blast, you go into extra innings. You're the better team and show it. And that's, typical Orioles coming back to get it. And if you bet the Orioles, that's really what you can expect. But having said that, carrying a 2-run lead with your closer in the game in the ninth inning at home, you got to close that game down. But bad teams like games like that slip away all the time.
That's the difference between the Orioles and Seattle. Seattle finds ways to win those games. Baltimore always loses those type of games. A tough beat if you had the Diamondbacks -1.5. They're up 2-0 in the ninth. Brad Boxberger, the shithead, comes in, gives up a solo home run, 2-1. D-backs win. They don't really get the Wei Chen though, which was kind of surprising. Starlin Castro, that Marlins team now, they're awful pesky.
Yeah, no, I like that Marlins team. That's without, I believe, Realmuto sitting out, which I believe he's sitting out again today. The lineup is decent as constructed right now because these younger players are playing fairly well, and they're getting some action out of their bullpen. Chen is an awful pitcher, but he did wiggle his way through. I'm still surprised. I believe it was the top of the fifth inning where Arizona didn't get more than one run. And like your third base coach, Jeff, I like being aggressive, right? If your 8-hole hitter's up, if your pitcher's up there, and you say, you know what, there's no outs. Let me just send this guy from third base on this single here and see what happens. But with nobody out, and you got thrown out of the plate by 5 to 6 feet, it wasn't even close. Sometimes I just don't understand management overall, which we're going to get into in just a few moments, but they end up winning the game. You sort of got lucky on that anyway. I believe the top of the ninth inning, Descalso hit a home run that just cleared the top of the fence by 1 foot down there, but then Castro leads off the bottom of the ninth with a home run. Then I believe another guy got on base right away, so you were almost in line for a loss in that game at that point, but they did hold on. Diamondbacks are a good ball club. Didn't bring their bats on this one, but still a nice win for them, sure.
The Boston Red Sox. Does this team ever lose at home? Seems like they win every game at home, like, and they roll. They're rolling at home, 27-12 this year, scoring 6 runs a game. Just kind of cruising right now. They get the job done again last night, 9-6 behind. Not a great performance from Rick Porcello, but Andrew Heaney wasn't good either. Brian Johnson will make a start today. How about that? Brian Johnson, a known gas can for many years as a starter. Boston's won 5 in a row against the Angels this year. Angels really starting to Donnie tail off. They're back to 500 again. They're having a bit more trouble on the road. Boston doesn't lose at home.
No, Tani out. I mean, that's certainly a big one there. They are catching up a little bit of the injury bug, but a nice comeback. Looked like it was going to be one of those games, Jeff. It's going to be like 10-0 Boston by the 5th or 6th inning. They come all the way back. Even had some shots with Craig Kimbrell down, I believe, 2 runs, a 3-1 count at the plate. He was able to get out of it. I think maybe Valbuena was at the plate, ended up striking him out, and them also going on for the victory. But yeah, I mean, what do you expect there? I mean, Boston's a good baseball team. They're at home. They're going to hit in that tiny ballpark. JD Martinez looks like an absolute steal. What'd they get him for? Like 5 years, $120 million. The guy's at like 25 bombs already in the season. Boston's going to be formidable as it goes down the stretch. But just looking at the Angels and the game today, Jeff, you're right. Brian Johnson's going to be on the mound, the lefty, and we all know what does the Angels do, Jeff? Stack those right-handed bats. Probably going to see some runs there coming up again. If we look at what, I mean, I guess you do. 10.5 is the over-under. That should tell you all you need to know about these two starters.
Yeah, you're totally right. Dodgers take down Chicago, but this is a decent spot for the Cubbies against the lefty. They usually crush lefties. They didn't do it. They scored a lot of runs late. Listen, Donnie, I think for baseball right now, I think a lot of people are just a day late and a dollar short. You're just picking. For me, I know it's kind of just picking the wrong days to back certain pitchers and stuff. Dodgers get the job done here. What do you say?
Yeah, no, I liked Alex Wood last night in that game, and they staked him out to a big lead, and then the Cubs come back there. But the Cubs, to me, again, even though they are scoring some runs, I'm not a big fan of betting teams when their superstar player, their best player in the lineup, is out, as Chris Bryant's going to be being on the DL. Thought it was a decent spot for the Dodgers last night. I know a lot of people are looking towards the under in that one, Jeff. I think it closed 7.5 in that range. They blew that one out early. And again, it's Mr. Launch Angle went deep late for a 2-run lead. Bellinger for the Dodgers yesterday. So it's a decent game to watch. They had some offense in it there, some surprising offense, and a lot of it early. I thought the Dodgers was the right side. I wasn't really sure about the total, the over-under, but they did put up some runs.
We move on to today. We got a couple games here, Donnie. Why don't you break them down? What are we looking for today?
Yeah, just a few games. I mean, one of the interesting statistics, Jeff, that you like to look at. Now, Sean Nene is coming into the game. I faded him about a month ago when he was struggling. Seeming like he was going 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 innings, 4 earned runs, but sort of righted the ship. But here comes that, confluence of games where you look at the Detroit Tigers at home. They're going to face a lefty on the mound. And I know it's one of the situations that you look at there. 2,400 tickets have been tracked. 63% of those tickets are on the Oakland Athletics. Most of the people just fading Detroit just because they're a bad team at this point. Opened up -120, -125. Now you're seeing a drawback there to around a pick 'em in that ball game. Over under looks like it's 9 across the board. Fulmer has been decent this past couple starts, but so has Minaya. But some folks are just going to lean on saying, all right, if you're going to bet Detroit, it's got to be versus a left-hander.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the noise here. This fucking fly I got in here, man, it won't fucking go away. I told my parents, stop opening the fucking door and letting shit in the fucking house. Now I get this fly that won't leave me the fuck alone. Donnie, 13 straight they faced a righty Detroit. He's a lefty today, and Daddy is back on the Detroit Tigers today against Sean Manaea. Donnie, they're hitting 290 this year against Southpaws. It's a day game. We're at home. Detroit Tigers today. And look, I get Michael Fulmer, who's been very good lately. I like Detroit in this spot. For me, they're an auto bet. I've made that very clear. Every time they face a lefty, I'm on them. Give me Detroit today as an underdog.
Yeah, Detroit firing their pitching coach yesterday. Nobody even knows what the hell he even said there. So a little bit of turmoil there. Who's Fulmer going to turn to, Jeff, when he needs to talk to his pitching coach and he's not there?
Yeah, weird story there. Chris Bosio has been a coach for a while. I would love to hear what he said. I'm sure will never be told what he said.
Yeah,
But
I always,
you know,
I got a bone to pick with that too, Jeff. When you hear about that, we let him go because of some things he said. Same thing I have a problem with, Jeff, when the baseball player gets caught with steroids, but we don't release what steroid he's on and why he took it there. It's like it's some undercover investigation, which leads to me to believe is it gives the excuse out there saying we're not going to pop you for testosterone. Go out and make something up that you were trying to have a baby with your wife, so you took some ridiculous steroid out there. Same thing with this guy saying, "Oh, it was just a bad joke." No, no, no. Put it out in the paper. Here's exactly what this guy said, and this is why we fired him. What's wrong with that?
according to New York Post, it was racial language, racist in nature. What that could be, I don't know, but I guess I think at this point it's probably safe to say it was um, in awful taste, and they're not going to release what it was. I think we can kind
Did
of
he tell a joke, or was he joking with
no.
his friend and someone
I,
picked up?
I
Like,
don't.
I want to hear details on why these people get canned. Because if it's him being an idiot and getting canned, you say, well, damn, you deserved it. But I don't want to hear like some passing joke that some guy caught like across the arena and not really sure what he said and they fired him. Put it out there. Let the people know.
My guess is they were probably got into an argument, and he made a comment racially about it. Um, Avila's not going to stand for that, as neither should anyone. I think it would have something to do with that. Donnie, what else? We have Brewers Reds. What do we have on the line here?
Yeah, let's see what we got here. If we go look at the Milwaukee Brewers, Jeff, your boy's on the mound today. Junior Guerra is going to take it. He's been in decent form. I mean, not the greatest. He didn't have the greatest outing versus the Philadelphia Phillies, but he's been good. DeSclafani actually has been decent as well, Jeff. 67% are going to back the road team here. Milwaukee Brewers for a 7:10 East Coast start. 104, 110 it opens up. Still staying around that level. So a lot of tickets coming in from Milwaukee, but that line not moving. But again, like I can actually see it here. We'll see what some of the lineups come out to be, but it used to be, hey, man, let's get a good joke out here and just fade the Reds because they have no bullpen, no starting pitching. But now that starting pitching has sort of turned the corner, they got healthy in the bullpen, and that lineup rakes as well as anybody in Major League Baseball. It's no longer, Jeff, a foregone conclusion just to fade the Reds out there. They can swing them bats.
Donnie, say the pitcher for the Brewers one more time.
Junior Guerra.
It's Guerra. Junior Guerra. Guerra.
I mean, people say Barrios when it's Jose Barrios. It's all about what type of dialect you like,
Come on, Donnie, you're Spanish. You should get that right. Guerra.
Vida Guerra. David Guerra. Yeah.
Guerra. He's French. But listen, Donnie, this kind of looks to me like I just have the better bullpen. I think I have the better team. I like Guerra. I think he's better than Scalfini. Scalfini's been pretty good, but for the truth of the matter,
now, hold on,
I like
Jeff.
Guerra.
Say it right, Jeff. Say it right. DeSclafani.
Scalafani. I always thought it was Feeney at the end. My fault. I thought it was Fini. Fani, yeah, sorry. No, I thought it was the Scalafini. My fault. No, listen, Donnie, you don't got to tell me about.
I don't care.
I know.
I don't care.
I know. What do we got in the total here? 9. Yeah, 9's a bit high, isn't it? If Guerra pitches well, I'm confident that Scalafani will pitch well. I think the under's got to worth a little look here. Guerra 10-3 to the under this year when he pitches. They got a good bullpen back there. Cincinnati's starting to get that pitching, like you said. I think the under is kind of sharp here. Donnie, you look at opponents against Milwaukee over the last week, hitting 179. I lean Brewers. I lean under. Wrap it up.
Yeah, you know what's interesting with the Brewers here, Jeff? Because I love this. Lorenzo Cain is the engine on that offense. Him and Yelich. Now that he's on the DL, you got Travis Shaw banged up. I want to see who's actually coming to play in this game before I make a wager. Are we going to get Aguiar in there? Are we going to get Hernan Perez in there at this point? I want to see some lineups come out to see exactly before maybe choosing a side on this one because I like it when the Brewers are full go and you get that lineup in there that has, maybe Thames, you got Yelich, and you got Cain starting that lineup out. You could fill in with the, Ryan Brauns of the world behind that. Aguiar, as I said, that's a really good, formidable hitting lineup. I just want to see what they have out there because they bent, if let's just say the thumb's not working for Bron and Aguiar gets a day off, it doesn't look too enticing already, obviously, with Cain out of the lineup. But it should be a good game in there. But can't sleep on the Reds anymore, man. That's, I guess, what we're talking about here, right?
No, you definitely can't. So that's it. Baseball.
Early game games action, Jeff. Hold on. What an early game. We got a 12 o'clock game here, Jeff. Now, look, a lot of sharps and squares going to be lining up on this game. Zach Greinke, who's been good form, but so has Richards here at home. Do you get lulled to sleep, Jeff, and just lay a 170 on the line on the road with Zach Greinke here?
against the Marlins, yeah, that looks like one I wouldn't do. No, because I got a
A
feeling
high
the
price,
Marlins will
man,
somehow
isn't it?
win that one.
Give me
Yes.
maybe because it opened up 165, 170, staying right around. I don't know, 85% of the tickets coming in early on Arizona. Looks easy, doesn't it? They got a good lineup out there. It's always the Marlins. JT Realmuto still not in the lineup, but it somehow seems like, Jeff, this is one of those games where it's the third inning and you're like, damn, man, Marlins are 3-1 in this game. But if you're just from a betting perspective and saying the better overall team, technically, yes, you do have the better pitcher. Technically, yes, you do have the better lineup and you have the better bullpen. Why not take a flyer? But some of these early getaway games, Jeff, a noon start, how many people are going to be down there, Jeff? 5 to watch this game? Dead environment? I don't know.
Yeah, sounds like a great game to watch, Donnie. Can't wait. Donnie, I want to get to this quickly. I didn't write this in, but
Yeah.
I was watching this last night as I was playing poker. This Arkansas Oregon State game, this
Oh,
College World
yeah.
Series. I
Tough
don't know if
one.
you saw what happened here, but
I did.
basically Oregon State they were down to their final strike. They had a tying run on third base. Kid hits a foul ball towards the first base, kind of grass, a little past it towards the outfield. Three guys carry, kind of rally around it. Nobody calls for it. Ball drops. I think a batter later, they rule them in. Oregon State wins. We're going to game three and deciding game three. I mean, you would have won the World Series if you had made
Yeah.
that catch. Uh,
Yep.
Brutal. Really, really
Fade
brutal
spot
stuff.
today. Jeff, what are you saying? Fade spot on Arkansas today? Is that what we're looking at?
You know, I don't know. There's a kid on Twitter that's pretty good with college baseball. I might see what he has. I don't really tell many people, but when you have a real niche sport like that, some of these guys are pretty decent. Some of the guys that actually have time to look at it, other than like I do. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough loss. You have to wonder where their confidence is.
I gotta
That's
wonder, like,
brutal
it's not even
because
like it wasn't even like a play where it's like, you know how you have a ball that, gets in the gap or whatever, and you cut it
yeah,
off, and it's a bang bang play at second base. Like, three guys circled this, and the guy that should have had the ball who was calling for it, I believe, was the second baseman, and he just like overran. Like, it was to the point where it wasn't even a tough play, and nobody even came close to even making the play. You sometimes you see in baseball, Jeff, where it's a pop up on the third base territory, it's high. The catcher and the third baseman don't know who's going to call for it, and it lands between them. And you're like, oh shit, I thought you had it. No, you had it. Or they run into each other and the ball pops out there. But three guys circled this ball, and it was almost like nobody even wanted to get near the ball, like there was a force field. It was a real interesting play because it wasn't a hard play, and all three of the guys could have easily made a play on the ball, and like nobody cared. Like, second baseman, I'll call for it, and just run into the stands. It was awkward, man.
yeah, it really was a tough way. Luckily, it didn't. They're not out or anything, but I mean, you had a chance to finish it and get the job done, and you couldn't do it.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
really
know how you come
tough.
back from that either. Like, how do you go back to your hotel room that night? Because you saw the reaction from the manager. I don't know if you call him a head coach in baseball in college. I'm assuming he's still a manager at this point, but he sort of was taken aback. Like, you see the pop up, and like, we're gonna win. We just won the World Series, and it drops, and then you lose. I don't know how you rally the truth because those three guys that didn't make the play, who I'm assuming are all starters, they're down in the dumps. The pitcher who couldn't get out of it even after that ball, because Jeff, they didn't win the game with it. Like, it still could have thrown a pitch. It was down to the last strike him out. You still win the World Series. He couldn't get it done, and then you get the jack two guys later in the ninth inning. So you just get that avalanche on top of you. Now you got to come back and play and say we should have already won, but we didn't. I mean, goes right back to 2000 when you're watching the college football final, the Fiesta Bowl with Miami and Ohio State. Miami wins the national championship. They're shooting off the fireworks. The confetti's going off. Miami's throwing their helmets. They're hugging. And all of a sudden the ref 20 seconds later says, no, this was pass interference. You knew Miami was done at that point because, like, dude, we won. Oh, boy, now we got to play again. It's over. I think
So what are you saying?
yeah.
Do we
Oregon State.
dump
It's
on
got to
the
be Oregon State,
Beavers?
right? Yeah, it's got to
Yeah,
be the
I got
Beavers today. Arkansas State should be shot.
I gotta agree. Donnie, we got about 7 minutes or so. I wanted to bring this up
Yeah.
also. In an age where all we hear about is players should be paid in college, da 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 da. We've heard that time and time again. You just kind of realize how good it really is down at Alabama today. They debuted it, Donnie. They debuted their new 25,000 square foot nutrition facility. Now, Donnie, they have 5 chefs, 4
Mhm.
nutritionists. I mean, you look at some of the pictures coming out. Look at these steaks, beautiful steaks, and
Yep.
all
Yep.
sorts of great food. I mean,
Mhm.
it really is great being in Alabama. And if you're a young kid out there, go grab the football and throw it around with pops. I mean, you kids down in the SEC, you get all the good looking women. And now you get the good cafeterias and the nice nutritions. But Donnie, you still don't have enough money to pay these kids. You rather just feed them. Impressive stuff though. What Alabama's doing, they're like a protein. It's amazing. Most college kids are eating, wings from the local gas station or sushi out of the local supermarket. Not these guys. All sorts
Yeah,
of
yeah. No, if
nutrition-based
you're going to
meals and
if you're
stuff.
going to a Power Five school and you're a scholarship athlete, I don't want to hear anything out of your mouth. You get a stipend a month. You get to eat. You have chefs make you whatever you want. Now, granted, probably not going to have pizza because it is a nutrition center. But how nice would it be, Jeff, for you? You're sitting in your apartment there in Lancaster. You're down the shore, and you have a guy in the kitchen, probably from 6 a.m., probably right through to like 10 o'clock at night, that you can walk in damn near anytime you want and say, make me up something tasty and healthy. You got it. I'll make you up a nice steak, put some vegetables together, baked potato, be up in 2 minutes, bang. You roll out of bed in the morning, Jeff. Hey, man, make me up a nice healthy omelet here and make it right whenever you want. But yeah, you hear these stupid ass stories. I was a Division III athlete, Jeff, stretching $20 a month like I
Yeah.
was king out here and making it happen. And you still, man, I was so hungry. Who
Listen,
is hungry when
Donnie.
you have a place open damn near 20 hours a day that you can eat all the time you want? I don't get it.
Donnie, it's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. And every time they tweet this shit out, it's always the kids should be paid. This is why they should be paid. Listen, dude. Okay, first of all, they get 30 fucking $1,000 plus in free tuition, which I don't know if anybody knows, but most of us
I'm
we have
more.
to pay for that. Okay,
Yeah.
12, $15,000 in a free room. They get to stay in different quarters than everyone else now. They get to stay at the football house, not at some rat
Yep.
trap dorm with everybody else where you have to listen to a fucking
Mhm.
RA on every floor bitch and whine about
Yep.
everything. You don't got to deal with that either. Oh,
Yep.
also, we're going to give you not only, nice food stipends, we're actually going to make you all your food. You come there, you tell us what you want, we make it for you, you eat, you leave, and you still want to find a fucking way to complain? Why don't you complain? Why don't you go ask all those kids out there that go to school for 8, 9 years to become a doctor? They get a residency, and all their check goes to fucking student loans because they can't afford to use their doctor salary that they worked for. They got to give it back to the fucking government because they went to school for it. What about those
No,
people?
but also
What
like,
about
and I guess and people don't understand this as well. In the '90s, when I was in school, now nobody was checking on Division III, so my coach did whatever the hell he wants. But do you know, Jeff, there is a time limit during the week for the players itself. I don't know the exact. Maybe somebody in the chat box knows, but I'm going to say like 20 hours a week, and that counts all 7 days for football activities. That counts film room study, Jeff, on practice field and game time. So don't give me when I wake up in the morning, like coach has me working like from 7 a.m. till 7 at night. Your coaches can literally only get at you like 2 hours out of that day in the NCAA. They have the greatest life on the planet. How about all the times
and
that you're in college? I know if anybody's going out there, you type in, it's like, oh, I would like to get this class at 2 o'clock. It's filled up. Well, how about the class at 3 o'clock? It's filled up. How about at 4? Filled up. You get first choice at the registrar to pick whatever classes you want.
and the
And
thing
then
is,
you get these single best tutors in that class that are going to tell you exactly what's on the goddamn test.
and the thing is, at the end of the day, these idiots are too stupid to realize that even though you're probably going to go to the NFL and it won't matter, you can still go to school and earn a free education. Because I don't know if they know this, football doesn't last forever. But they get everything handed to them. There's still a reason they want to complain and whine that they need more, they need better. I remember when Shabazz Napier, his mother would complain about that, and he would whine that he didn't have any food or anything. Now keep in mind, this is a kid who his mother was always front row at every game. I mean, you mean to tell me he wasn't? Come on, man. I mean, cut the bullshit, Shabazz. Come on. I remember he used to whine about that all the time. But yeah, listen, it's irritating to hear. They get everything they could ask for. I don't know why they keep whining about it. But that's it, Donnie. We'll wrap it up. Good show today. Good content. Good participation from everyone as always. A lot of people in agreements here that they shouldn't whine. Taylor H sending good vibes to the Hogs. Yeah, well, listen,
Hmm.
Taylor, we can't really.
They need
It's hard to
it.
send good
They
vibes
need
to
it.
them after last night. That's a tough way to lose. We got a feeling Beavers get the job done today. The Beaver Fever, as they would say. Let's wrap it up here, Donnie. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back Friday. Not a football Friday. Well, actually, a football Friday, but on the soccer pitch. We'll get to that. Hey, Big Man, did you hear about LeBron texting Kevin Durant about teaming up in LA? No, I didn't hear that. I'm sure we'll hear all sorts of fine rumors and stuff here. But we'll sift them through, Donnie. Tomorrow night, last night for LeBron to opt out. We'll see what goes on there. We'll be back Friday. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Thanks to Jan for producing. We'll see you Friday here on the right side of campus.